I'm not sure really if any of the content that I film is ever very interesting. Obviously, these things are more just kind of, supposed to be short vlogs on the process. And ultimately, I've always viewed these videos as just a way to hold myself accountable at the end of the day, just something where I have to put up a video every day, just to keep the record going, just to keep the sort of the public track record of it. So I have to write every day. It's been a way to sort of encourage me and to sort of force me into writing. But as far as the channel goes, as far as the content being, at least of some interest, I'd imagine at this point it is probably the lowest, the most boring aspects of it, because it's basically the end, right? Like, we're getting very, very close to the end of this project here. And what's left, right? Like, at this point, I spent two different videos here now talking about just changing the names of characters, and it's like, I recognize how insignificant that is, how sort of uninteresting that definitely is, and it feels at this point though that, at least for the short while, things are not necessarily going to get any different. On the good side of that, though, on the other side of that, there is a certain understanding that, hey, things are going well, right? The world, the writing right now is going well. The world that I've created here, it's humming along almost without me, right? At this point, like, I'm at the point now where it's almost like some sort of machine, basically, that you sort of prime and you finally get it going and it runs. You don't have to keep an eye on it; it just keeps running, constantly. That's how this book feels at this point. It's not a whole lot that I need to do to it, and it's a good feeling to be in that sort of position. Despite the annoyances, despite the annoyance of having to, come up with like character names and come up with a better name for the book title than what I've been using, the smaller things. It feels very, very calming here. And I've spoken before about the end of the season, right? I've talked before about sort of the idea that, every single project you do has a shelf life. Even if you don't finish it, there's a certain shelf life of interest and of how much you can actually do with that project. And many people tap out early. Many people stop projects way before they hit this point. They sort of mistakenly think, hey, this is the end of my project, I can't do any more. When really it's just frustration or shiny new idea syndrome with another project, or just you having not thought through initially at the start of the project what you want to do, so you pick some sort of shallow project with not a whole lot to offer you, and you start looking at how much work has to go into it, and you realize there's no payoff to it. Like, the payoff isn't going to be worth the effort. But everything has a shelf life. Every single project has a certain level of interest that it can offer to other people, and how much you can give into it. And being on the other side of this now, it's very calming. It feels like the first calming time that I've had in this writing process in a very long time. Potentially the first time since, I'd imagine, I was on my sabbatical and I had no other obligations at that time besides my writing. This is the first time it feels that way. So I'm taking it easy here at this point, just kind of moseying through the next couple, next week or two, however long it takes before I get the titles, the names down, and then it's over. At that point, it's over, and then I'm going back to finishing this last draft up, and I'm recording it. But until then, I do hope those that are watching this enjoy it. I will be back tomorrow.